Hello, I'm tatocat. Welcome to my channel. Today we are playing Lucid9. Previously, we went to a job fair and we found out how we became friends with Misaki, or Miki, or whatever her name is. And we left off with Mr. Ryota being our therapist and asking us how we feel about things or something. Anyways, let's begin. Also, I found something new. I don't know why it took me so long to realize I could do this because it is, written pie. But if you right click, the menu things do have words so you know what the things mean. These don't. But this does, which is good. Anyway. Why do you think that about yourself? Mysterio's voice seems to come from far in the distance, faint but recognizable. I respond distractedly. You know me, I'm not useful, or popular, or particularly intelligent. Yama seems kind of intelligent to me. Silence follows the statement, so I only continue. Our families were close. Misaki's father would always throw these get-togethers at their house, over the weekends or during special occasions. Are we gonna find out who we're writing to? The dead person we were trying to write to? Hopefully, eventually. I remember him being really overwhelming at first. He was a lot like Misaki, only bigger and louder. I rarely saw Misaki's mother. The time I did see her, she was pretty distant. Besides that, I really didn't remember much about her. At first, we were inseparable, Misaki and us, but then her father had lost his job and we started seeing less of her. And eventually they just left, no warning whatsoever. Even our parents tried to get in contact, no luck. It had been as if the Kazahayas had disappeared off the face of the planet. That must have been a really hard blow. Rui says that it had been. Honestly, I don't really remember much of what followed. It all passed in a haze. Essentially, I felt abandoned. I had this idea that everyone close to me would leave me. I don't think I could even cry. I only felt empty inside. But Rui says that it was a really terrible time. She says that I didn't eat, didn't sleep, didn't even play any games with her. She says that I look like a ghost. Heck, practically became one. And I don't remember it, but she says that one day... Oh, what was that? That was scary. That was a scary flashbacky thing. Yama, what's wrong? No. Sorry. That's it. Sob story over. Are you sure? You do realize the entire point of therapy is to share your sob stories? It's not a burden, Yama. I'm glad to hear you out. I feel tired. I think I'll have to stop here. It's mainly an excuse, and a very effective one for a therapist. Mr. Ryota immediately nods in understanding. Thanks for confiding in me. Just know that what you felt is completely valid. I'm sorry that you had that trauma. It's fine. I got over it. I'd like to go now, if that's okay. If you're sure, is there anything I can do for you? Okay. Sure you don't want a lollipop? Yeah, I'm pretty sure, but thanks. Have a good day, Yama. But at least take this prescription. Prescription? Seriously? Then I actually look at it. 1 bucket of ice cream to be eaten guilt-free. Bucket? How big is this bucket? And you can't, if it's a large bucket, you can't eat that guilt-free because you'll get sick to your stomach. And you will have lots of regret. Oh. As far as administration knows, This is totally a legitimate treatment. Ice cream is one of the core groups of the food pyramid, you know. Yeah, dairy. He actually pulls a genuine laugh out of me. Thanks, Mr. Ryota, and thanks for listening. Anytime. As long as it's not during his clan battles. I exit Mr. Ryota's office in considerably better mood than when I entered it. I actually don't feel tired. I feel rejuvenated. Seems like those memories have been weighing on me for a long time. Maybe therapy really will be beneficial. Deciding to take this prescription to heart, I head straight to the downtown shopping area. With my mind clear, I get to pay a little more attention to the weather. Beautiful cloudless skies with the slightest hint of cool breeze. Cloudless? Cloudless skies. Maybe he only sees this part. This square here with no clouds. Because these are what I assume to be clouds. You. What? Sorry, she just distracted me with her whole existence. A girl careens from around the corner and nearly crashes right into me. Her glasses flash dangerously as she tips her newsboy cap over her forehead, studying me with an intensity that could rival an electronic microscope. Me? It's all I can manage to save at the eccentric sight.
Yes, you. An idyllic, unlettered, civilian, perfect.
An dissatisfied smile tugs at her lips. For what must have been the 100th time today, I feel a keen sense of impending doom.
Respond to my questions with either yes or no. Do not deviate, do not invent, and for the sake of both of our sanities, do not dawdle. First, am I correct in assuming you're an academy student?
You must have the wrong person. I've never seen you before.
How can you judge the purpose behind this encounter without knowing the criteria I've set in my approach? I am not mistaken. You are my target.
It doesn't take a genius to sense that this girl means trouble. I decide to conveniently ignore her and step around her. She only steps with me, blocking my path. Again. Oh great. I can sense where this is going.
As I envisage, subject demonstrates a remarkable inability to utilize basic cognitive functions.
Talk about uncalled for. Abusive words, overly complicated language. She clearly has... Maybe I should call the hospital. See if they have a runaway mental patient. But she's not wearing hospital clothes. Well, she's runaway. Maybe she stole it from somebody else. Look, kid. I don't know what your problem is, but...
Kid?
The pleasantly cool air suddenly develops a rather harsh chill. She must be in one of those phases. Just another 14-year-old expected to be treated with dignity of a grandmother. Albeit a 14-year-old who apparently memorized a dictionary. Well, game, have you not seen your words? Just saying. You know, kettle pot situation. Well, whatever you are, generally speaking, it's pretty rude to just run up to some random stranger and insult them.
Truly, your idiocy has risen to a level beyond which I had previously surmised.
She immediately digs into her pocket and flashes something in front of my face.
Shigeru Inomoto, freelance detective. Legally certified to inspect crime scenes, obtain private files, and if necessary, interrogate unduly inquisitive citizens with the observational finesse of a blind bat. And shall you note that I am 26 years of age.
Wait, what? You're 26?
Unless you presume to imply that you are deaf as well as dumb, I suggest...
But you're so short.
Hey. So? I'm short too. And I am older than that.
I practically feel ice crystals forming in the air.
Well, I should strongly prefer to be short of stature than short in cerebral matter. That seems to be your tendency.
Ouch. Not a bad blow. But wait. If you're a freelance detective, does that mean this is an interrogation? And I'm a suspect? If I have to go to the police station, do I get excused absence from class?
I see no need to reverse your expectation that you'll be taking the unexcused absences as they are. Consider this an inevitability similar to your clinical depression.
That stops me. What? How could she possibly... What would even make her think something like that?
You might as well carry a sign. From your uniform, you're a student at the academy. From the fact that you're wearing it, you attend the school this morning. From your presence in town or in class, you are, as I believe they call it, playing hooky. From the prescription slip, you're enrolled in the recently developed therapy method that the academy has been boasting. From your fairly normal physicality and social skills, your problem is most likely clinical depression or something like high-functioning autism.
Okay, I get it. You're a detective.
And you're impressed, but pretending not to be.
It is pretty impressive. The observations themselves might seem like common sense, but a person who can actually synthesize them is rare to find. Which of course kind of just makes her even more annoying. I relaxed a little, oddly relieved that she hadn't actually secretly researched me.
Now it is your turn.
My turn?
Of course. What can you see from my physical presentation? I invite you to give your brain some much-needed exercise.
That gets close to firing me up. Close. Sorry, but I have my therapist's instructions to follow. Unless you have any actual business with me, I appreciate it if you left me alone. I step around her again. This time she doesn't move. But just as I think I'm home free, I hear a soft whisper drifting from behind me.
Do you not wish to play a bigger role in society than an inconsequential pawn in this game of life? Or will you restrict yourself to confines of your own abilities just because of her?
I quietly stop, turn around slowly. Tell me how you know that right now.
I shall, after you prove yourself mentally capable of comprehending the simplest of my explanations.
Fine. She wants to play it that way. Let her play it that way. Time to focus. I'll start with... Oh my goodness. Here's the game. Is this game our choices? Is this a thing? What is this? Choices. Let's start with being like a detective, right? Detective.
I guess maybe body language?
Her body language. She spreads her weight evenly on both feet, unlike most girls, who let it lie more on one side of their hip than the other. Even weight on both feet almost sounds like a... Well, if it's that even, then that seems more like a fighting stance. She seems relaxed, but with that bright-eyed look of someone who's expecting danger around every corner. But that kind of weight distribution doesn't seem to come naturally. Maybe she was in sports, or maybe in self-defense at one point for a while from the looks of it. I like to guess martial arts, but I can't say for sure. There are too many possibilities. Okay, then maybe I should think about this a different way. Her movements are very crisp and close to the body. When she's speaking, she doesn't gesture very much, even when yelling. Generally speaking, sports emphasize emoting on a huge scale, roaring in victory, falling in defeat, the works. Not only that, but limbs are trained more for gross motor skills than fine motor skills. On the contrary, Shigure has very tight control over her hands, almost to the point where she seems stiff, which likely points to something high control like ballet or archery or more subtle martial arts like Wing Chun. Well, that still doesn't narrow things down too much. Time to move on. I've noticed when she moves, she primarily tends to use her, well, if I'm going based off of this picture alone, because I don't really remember what she was doing and her other things. Let's see, so we are facing her, so we'll say right hand. Her left hand is generally stagnant, while her right often takes most of the action, adjusting her glasses or tapping against her hip. Probably safe to assume that she's right-handed. And that's a good observation, but the thing is, I'm left-handed. I use my right hand for a lot of things. Just saying. So, she used to be involved in a high-control form of physical exercise, and she's right-handed. Is that all I can get from her body language? Well, she doesn't wear any noticeable makeup, she dresses like a kid, and she wears glasses instead of contacts, just calling more attention to her pathetic stature. Harsh. Wait a minute, when I put it that way, it almost sounds like I think she probably wants to be underestimated. Why would it be this one? This one seems to be more logical. Let's go with this one. Wants to be underestimated. Even though she pretends to be indignant about being mistaken for a kid, it looks like that's her intent. Even though she's a freelance detective, she doesn't wear her badge anywhere, carry a gun, or anything really. She probably believes that being underestimated is a valuable skill. It is. I can't say I personally agree, but hey, she's the 26-year-old freelance detective, not me. Oh, I get to choose something now. What should I look at next? Why not her clothes? Because we were just talking about her clothes. Unlike the standard professional wear, I might expect a law enforcement agent. She dressed comfortably, probably can do that because she's a freelance detective. I was about to say, she's not a police officer, she's a freelance detective. They also haven't been ironed in a while, which means either she doesn't care or she's a workaholic, possibly a combination of both. Her shirt proclaims King, conscious or unconscious association to her egotism. I can't tell much, but I find it strange that she dressed so casually and expect people to take her seriously. With her height and her clothes, is it any wonder that she's often mistaken for a kid? And one more thing bothers me. She wears comfortable looking clothing, which I previously assumed were for efficiency. After all, chasing down criminals' high heels is a stupid idea. And yet something stands out. Hat and jeans. Why would the glasses and hoodie aren't that big of a deal? I don't think. But for efficiency, if we're thinking about efficiency, I don't see how a hat is useful. So, hat and jeans. Right, hats are a pain to run with because unless you keep one hand on them at all times, they're likely to flop around, fall off, or just generally be obnoxious. And jeans are too tight to opt for flexibility. Running in those would either be very uncomfortable or very embarrassing. Yeah, at work I wear leggings, which implies that she just dresses how she wants to. Definitely a very headstrong individual. If she doesn't choose casual clothing for comfort, knowing that it can interfere with her job, then Is she purposely choosing it to aggravate others? To announce her individualism? It would match with her choosing to be a freelance detective instead of corporate investigator. Free-spirited, rebellious, and, as I suspect from how she's shamelessly pulling me aside for no reason, guided more by her heart than her head, despite her intellect. Not bad. Next I should think about, it's only the one option. The circumstances. Why here? Why now? Why me? These are all questions I need to address. A detective approached me and bombarded me with questions, but I see no other policeman. Is she doing this just because she's bored? No. She was specifically looking for an academy student for some reason. I'm coming up short in this area. I'll have to think about this later. I take a step back to look at the full picture. No, this isn't it. Not quite. It's good information, but it's basic. Nothing stands out. I can't actually use any of this. Time to think a little deeper. Is there anything that can help me? Anything at all? Something I've missed? Phone ringing. Inamoto speaking. Yes. If you cannot resolve such an appallingly simple task by your own means, I shall consider your intellect no different than that of a headless chicken. So good day. Well, dang. Now, you may want to hasten your efforts before the ground upon which we stand becomes our gravestones. Yeah, I'm on it. I say this distractedly primarily because I noticed. She has a flip phone. Ancient technology by today's standards. Buttons, 2-inch screens, primitive camera, the works. Not just that, but it's a terrible looking flip phone. The kind of decor that you'd see on prepubescent phones. Rhinestones, heart stickers, even the random scrawl from a Sharpie that was too faded into the metal for me to read. It's completely unlike her, which means that it's a wealth of information. While on call, she so graciously turned the phone in my direction, allowing me to catch a glance of her wallpaper. Shock. It was a picture, at least a few years old, of a guy hugging her. Double shock. She was proudly showing off her ring. Not a cheap cutesy colored ring like a couple bands of a new relationship in its second week, a legitimate diamond ring. An engagement ring. But she's not wearing the ring anymore. Even looking at her hands at this moment, I can't even tell that she'd ever worn one. Which means that she once had a fiancé and he broke up with her and he did it. If she doesn't have a tan line or anything like that, that would mean it would have to happen a long time ago. Because if it happened recently, you'd be able to see the tan line or some sort of mark on her hand still. So, a long time ago. Of course. If the engagement had ended recently, I'd see tan around her finger or maybe an indent. Instead, there's nothing, which means that the fiancé called off the engagement a while ago. She obviously didn't call it off, not if she's keeping that picture on her phone. In fact, maybe they broke it up amicably if she hasn't deleted it yet. Either that or she's a stalker. Maybe he died. You didn't think about that, Yama? Alright, that's much more like it. I think I'm ready. I square my shoulders and look at her in the eye.